guys, so this is sort of a different video than my photography. I wanted to take a second to talk about one of my books that I penned under the name Harper Anderson. Before I get to that though, I just wanted to do a couple of shout outs. So the first one, if you're interested in some really awesome jewelry, these earrings are from Little Dixie Designs. And she's based out of Missouri, and it's really cool. She makes jewelry basically from bullet casings. It's really awesome. So if you're into something like that, definitely check her out. And then just a shout out to myself, I guess. This bracelet is made by Cross and Creations. So, you know, it's just something kind of cool. It's yellow and matches my skirt. I'm just being silly. So basically what this is it is a book that is a historical fiction book. So what historical fiction means is that the events or the time period is factual and did occur. So but the characters are all fictional. So I have stories in here about a Pony Express rider. And as we all know, there was a Pony Express and there were Pony Express riders. But the character that I'm writing about is completely fictional. I have other stories about the relationship between a grandmother and a granddaughter in Oklahoma. I have a couple of stories about the Civil War, particularly in regards to the Jayhawkers, who were from Kansas, and the guerrillas, who were from Missouri. And so that story sort of takes place between Kansas and Missouri, showing the relationship dynamic between families and the guerrillas and the Jayhawkers. But one of the stories that I wanted to read to you is one of my favorite stories, and it is called Freedom in the Chalk Hills, which is around here somewhere. Aha, okay. So I thought I would take just a little bit to read this story to you, and I hope that when I finish that it intrigues you enough to go to Amazon and check out Harper Anderson and check out the book Stories of Old. And I think y'all will really like it. It's really just a bunch of short stories. So, and this is one of the shorter ones. Amos was a mean and unusual man who lived alone in a shack beneath the chalk hills. Every morning he smoked a cigar, whittling his wood while sitting on his porch barefoot in his faded overalls and nothing else. His beard was long and coarse, the gray streaking through it outwardly, declaring his age. Keeping to himself, he kept Samo locked away in a cage, only throwing scraps to him when there were scraps to be thrown. Samo was a spider monkey, unaccustomed to the diaper on his behind and the iron bars that suffocated his fight for living any life. He watched Amos whittle his wood every day and soon had the bright idea to do the same with his rusted iron cage. Taking the bones littered about his cage, he whittled every day at the bars, and one cloudy, rainy day he succeeded and was able to break free. Samo didn't run away, but instead waited for Amos to pass out from his whiskey. He wrapped sheets around him, creating a large diaper, and then proceeded to tie him up in various ropes and chains. To celebrate his victory, Samo lit a cigar and sat on the porch, whittling an image of himself. Upon finishing his work, he left the wooden figure in his cage along with a cigar and made his way to freedom in the chalk hills. So, a little interesting fact about that story. The Chalk Hills is an actual place. So, Samo the monkey, not a real character. Amos the mean old man, also not a real character. They're just characters that came out of my head. But the Chalk Hills is a real place that you can visit in Oklahoma. It's between Mansville and Tishomingo. And the first time that I saw the Chalk Hills, I was about, I would say 20 years old, and had been living in Oklahoma for about a year. And I was fascinated by the place. And it looks like chalk. It really does. You're driving along and everything looks like chalk. there were the mounds of dirt that looked like chalk and these weird, strange, kind of configured cedar trees that were popping up from the landscape. And I just thought it was a really interesting place. And where I got the idea for this, monkey named Samo, there was an older gentleman that had actually taken me to the Chalk Hills so that I could see it for myself. And he told me as we were driving down the road, he said, I knew a man that lived down that road and he used to have a pet monkey. And I thought, well, how interesting, we're out here in the middle of nowhere and some guy had a pet monkey. And it turns out that this guy was not a very nice guy, and I guess couldn't contain the monkey or handle the monkey. Can't really recall the details, but he would keep the monkey in his car. He had some old car that he didn't use, and it was just sort of a junk car that he used for parts, and so he kept this poor monkey in the car. And eventually one day, I guess someone came to visit and made the mistake of opening up this car, and the monkey escaped and just, tore through all kinds of stuff and made all sorts of problems and ran off. No one ever knew what happened to the monkey. But as a 20-year-old girl, just moved to Oklahoma, I'd only been there about a year, and I was from Missouri. It was just really interesting. The people in Oklahoma I thought were really neat and interesting and colorful, and the stories they had were just fascinating. So that was the inspiration behind Samo and Amos. So anyway, again, the book is called Stories of Old, and it's pinned under the name Harper Anderson, and you can go on Amazon and check it out. Once you're there and you read the book, if you like the book, I would love to hear what you think. So please leave me a review and let me know what you thought of the book. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for listening, and hope you check it out.